I learn a ton of from things other people ask. I've said this to so many people that some of the biggest breakthroughs I've had in my business is when I've been in a room where somebody else asked a question that I didn't even think to ask. My mind wasn't even going there. And them asking this question is what led to my breakthrough. So what I wanted to do is create a couple of case studies for you, if you will. Success leaves clues, right? Success leaves clues. If we see what's possible for someone else and how they did it, we can follow their path, or it might just spark some ideas. You don't have to follow their exact path, but it'll spark some ideas for you. So I wanted to do a case study for you with a client of mine, Toni. And I met Toni via networking, right? I was introduced to her. And after we had that conversation, she invited me to speak at an event she was holding. And so her and her colleague were putting on this event. It was a good event. It really was. It was very well attended. It was very well organized. There was great energy. Oh my God. They had great energy. The attendees had great energy. And I have to say, this was in the newer days of Zoom events. So I thought they did a fantastic job of recreating the energy of everybody being together. And you could totally tell that they were very dedicated in doing a good job, in delivering for their guests, and delivering for their attendees, and delivering for their speakers. They were on top of things. The only part that I was like a little hesitant about was when they made their offer, when Toni and her partner made their offer for their program. Here's the thing, I had no doubt they could do it. I had no doubt they could deliver on it. They're fantastic women, right? These ladies are amazing. I was just a little bit confused by what they were trying to explain. Fair, right? I go to a lot of events. I have events of my own. I've seen this a lot. And I was like, okay, I'm a little confused about what they're trying to offer their clients. But kind of like when you're in a guest in somebody's houses, you don't go, right? You don't go judge their decorations and tell them about it. So I just didn't say anything. I didn't doubt that they did just fine with what they were offering because of how amazing they were. And I just thought, wow, they could be extraordinary if they just tweaked that one little thing. If they were just able to tweak that one little thing, they could have gone from a really good event to something absolutely extraordinary. So fast forward to a year later. I think it's got to be like a year later. And Toni reached out to talk to me. We had kept in touch, but she had reached out specifically to talk to me about how could she make her event and her offer better? How could she make it more effective? And I have to tell you, this is one of the things that I absolutely love about her, is her interest in always getting better. She has this drive to always want to improve. And at the same time, not being all, I already know about it. Because here's the thing, she's really good at what she does. There's no lack of confidence there. She's good at what she does. But she also knew that there was room for improvement, as there always is. And she reached out to get it. So I describe what I do as working at the intersection where what you need to do meets who you need to be to do it. And this, like many others, was just one of those situations. So on the what do you need to do side, what did we do to help her go from good results to extraordinary results? What did we have to put together? So number one was a really easy to understand, compelling, profitable offer. We had to repackage what it was that she was offering, not what she was able to deliver. She's fantastic at what she was able to deliver, but how are we packaging it, pricing it, and talking about it? So that was number one. And number two, we had to create a client journey because she was having an event. So we had to create a client journey that, one, attracted people to her event so that they would attend, two, delivered during her event so that they would be pleased with what they were experiencing, And then ultimately 3, that those 2 things would lead to, for the right people, taking a step further with her into becoming her client, not just an attendee, but an actual client, and continue working with her. And these 2 things are true, and they are key to launching services in any way. Toni was doing this via an event, but the same holds true when you're just doing your regular marketing, whether it's your website, whether it's a landing page, whether it's an email sequence, whether it's your social media campaign. These things hold true, right? We need to have a compelling, easy to understand, profitably priced offer, and we need to have a client journey that takes people from meeting us all the way through the different steps into wanting to work and say yes to working with us. So that was what we needed to do. Now, on the who you need to be side, working with Toni on the who you need to be side, this is where I was absolutely most impressed with Toni, right? Because if you watch the rest of this video and you'll hear from Toni herself, you're going to see how amazing she is. You'll see how amazing she is. She's confident. She's strong. I love this woman. I love this woman. But what she did that's so fantastic is she didn't let these high-powered qualities get in the way of her awareness that there's always room for improvement. And that most often we can't see for ourselves quite how to do it. We need that outside perspective. She had the desire. She knew it was possible. She reached out for support. Like, it's that simple. She didn't let all the amazing things, isn't this weird, right? She didn't let all the amazing things about her, because there's a lot, stop her from continuing to elevate. A lot of people settle. And the second part of who Toni needed to be to make this work was actually even more impressive, because it shows her ability to be strong and her ability to be confident and her ability to be amazing, and yet at the same time be authentic and vulnerable. Here's the deal. She was having a wobble. Toni was having a wobble. And it's not a big wobble. And actually, considering that one of her businesses, because she has more than one, and one of her businesses is all about collaboration and connecting, this wobble makes total sense. And she talks about it in her video. You can hear it from her. But up until this point in her events and in her marketing, she wasn't 100% confident that she could do something like an event on her own. She felt she needed a partner, right? And I said one of her businesses is all about collaboration and all about networking. So it would make sense that her instinct is to be collaborative. But underneath it was a little tiny wobble that was telling her she had to have it and that she couldn't do it on her own. And it's not that partners are bad or wrong. There's a lot of fantastic partnerships. But Toni was ready to step up on her own, right? She was ready to step up into more of her own power. She just needed a cheerleader who believed in her and could give her the little nudges that she needed to get her over the hump on it. And this piece is really important. Why is it so important? Because it's a perfect example of the fact that fear can be teeny tiny and still stop you. I, for me, like to call anything that stops me fear. If it's stopping me, it's tied to a fear. Because I do that for myself because it lets me hone in on what I'm dealing with. I'm not sugarcoating anything. And then I can deal with it. This didn't feel like what we would usually label fear because it wasn't huge, right? It was smaller. It was more subtle. But underneath the small wobble that Toni was feeling was a fear that she couldn't do it alone. But she didn't let it stop her. She moved directly toward it. She moved directly toward it. So what were her results, right? Okay, sorry, you got me hooked. What happened? What happened? She sold out her tickets to her event, first of all. It was not a free event. It was you had to pay to be there. She sold out the event, and she sold out her entire program. She sold out her entire program. And it was at a more profitable margin because of how the offer was priced. It was at a more profitable margin because it was a less complicated offer, right? Complications always cost more money, they just do. So it was a less complicated offer, so there was a higher profit margin, and it was all hers. It was all hers. And if I remember correctly, I think she told me she took her family on a vacation after that. Like, how amazing. I'll also tell you, because we do keep up with each other, that Toni has gone on to continue with this model, to continue to use the client journey, the compelling offer model that we created together, to continue to get extraordinary results for herself and her clients. Case study, right? What can you take away for you? How can you use this information? Number one, what do you need to do? What do you need to do? Are you creating a compelling offer and a compelling client journey? Look at what you're doing that helps a prospect become a client. Do you have a compelling client journey that helps a prospect become a client? And is it easy for them to understand? Is it easy, right? That's very square in the what do you need to do box. And then in the box of who you need to be to do it, are you ready to step up in understanding that it's really hard to see in ourselves what might be holding us back. So if you feel a wobble, if you want something, Toni wanted more. If you want something more and you find yourself hesitating, be willing to have an honest conversation with yourself. Use my tool if it helps you. I just call it fear so I can move directly at it. Are you ready to step up into more? And can you find a way to discover what even a teeny tiny subtle fear might be that's holding you back, so that we can start the process of breaking through it for you, so that you can earn your own extraordinary result. Hang out with me for a few more minutes. You can hear Toni's story in her own words. And if you're looking to get some of these extraordinary results and want help finding a path for yourself, reach out and let's chat. So I am so excited to introduce you to the amazing, the wonderful, the drastic, which is my favorite, Toni Harris Taylor. So thank you for taking some time with us today. And why don't you tell everybody a bit about yourself, your business, what you do, how long you've been doing it. Give us all the amazing details we need.
Awesome. Toni Harris Taylor, Houston, Texas, and I have two businesses. Glutton for punishment. Drastic Results Marketing and Sales Coaching, where I'm the coach that connects. I help entrepreneurs to get known, get connected, and get paid to make six figures and beyond. And then I own Network in Action, which is a franchise. And that's where the connecting piece comes in. I run and own several networking groups across the country where I bring together business owners who want to build relationships, get more referrals, and increase their revenue. And I also have team members, team leaders who run those networking groups for me.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All producing drastic results. And I think when you and I met, that was the one thing, if amongst others, that we had so much in common is the networking, connecting. You
Yes.
can't do this by yourself. Who do you need to meet? Who can help
Yes.
you? That entire approach.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that sets me apart. I know it sets you apart. And I adopted the moniker, the coach that connects, because when you come into my community, it comes with a whole community of people that are going to help you to go faster And I'm just excited to be in the role of leading amazing entrepreneurs and watching them grow right before my eyes. I
Right.
swear, I have caterpillars that have turned to butterflies
It
in
is.
front of my eyes.
I was talking to another coach yesterday, and we said that the immediate gratification you get as a coach when you watch someone you've helped just slay is
Yeah.
like nothing else, right?
Yeah, it's like nothing else. And that's why I love what I do and I continue to do it.
Drastically, absolutely. So you and I work together for your event, and I want to give people a little bit of a feeling of what we worked on for you, because here's the thing: you are great at what you do. You have been doing what you do for a while. You were putting on profitable events in order to fill your programs, which is how I met you. I was actually a speaker sponsor at one of your events. So I saw that firsthand, what it is you're able to create. But then one day you reached out to me with some questions for some assistance. So I was curious, what made you reach out?
I knew you had did profitable events in the past. And I think I had heard about your last event, the success of that event. I think we had just had a catch up one-to-one,
Mhm.
and you told me what you were doing. And I was like, I've done profitable events, but here's the thing, everybody. We have blinders on in our own business. And even though I know what to do, she was my personal Glinda from The Wizard of Oz who pulled it out of me because it was in me all the time.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
It was in me all the time, but having that voice, someone to discuss it with, do you think this will work? How can we tweak it? So you helped me with my offer. You helped me with pricing my offer. And then I raised the price from what we talked about. You helped me with the strategy. And again, these are things I knew, but you need confirmation
You
from
need
people.
confirmation, and
Yeah.
I know one of the things we did for you, because you're absolutely right. It was all in there. You knew what you wanted. It was about narrowing down the clarity, I think,
Yes.
and creating the messaging.
Yes.
We worked on your messaging of
Yes.
how to really be able to tell people in,
Absolutely.
in an intentional step-by-step journey way
Yes,
how you
we
were able.
absolutely did. And you were masterful at asking the right questions to get me to see what I needed to see. And the results was a sold out event. Sold
I was so
out.
excited. I was like texting you. I'm like, okay, is she done talking on stage? Because I need to know what happened. I'm like, I'm going to give her half an
So
hour, and then I'm
eh,
texting her.
and I appreciate that after support you gave me as well. But it was a hybrid event. So I sold out of the in person and I sold out of the virtual because I did want to,
And you
I
sold
had a,
out of your program.
and I sold out of my program, which let's talk about that.
Your program. That's what we really, the messaging and the clarity around how to tell people what it is that you can do. And you sold out of your program.
I raised the price,
Yes.
raised the investment and sold out and did over 130K in my event.
In
And I did 3-day event.
3 days.
I didn't think it was possible for me. And it
It
has
was in
changed
you
the
all
game. It
along.
was in me all along. Here's the other thing. The event you met me at and you sponsored, I had a partner for that event. It was a collaboration.
Right.
And I like collaborations a lot, but I always felt like I needed somebody else.
Mhm.
I wasn't enough.
I remember having that conversation
I
with
felt
you,
like I
that
wasn't enough.
I do remember having that conversation, just of being the voice in your ear telling you, you got this all on your own.
Yeah. And so I am enough.
You
I've
are.
learned I am enough, and it's better this way anyway because I can bring on the sponsors I want to bring on, and there's not multiple voices in people's heads. I mean, collaboration was fine, but now I know I'm enough, and it's really your guidance and telling me that I was enough that really gave me the confidence.
Well, thank you. I love doing these interviews because it really helps other people understand what's possible for them. But this is where I've had to do my own work and just take that in and say thank you.
Yes,
And
yes.
so tell people, if you would, how is working with me different than what you may have done before? Because I know that's one thing in the coaching world as well. I've already tried so many things and they did work or they didn't work. How is it different?
It was different because you keep things 100, not 100, 100. So what that means is you don't pull back and you tell it like it is. And I appreciate that. Sometimes it's a little hard to take.
I tried to
I
not swear. I tried my best.
I put that ground rule in place. I can't handle profanity. That's just me personally, because it's a weakness of mine. And when people are profane around me, I become that way. So I'm just like, you just can't cuss in our sessions, but she still kept it 100. You are so easy to talk to, approachable. Your excitement about what I had made me excited. I felt like you were literally my cheerleader, and you
Absolutely.
were. And we all need that. Coaches need that. So I'm grateful that you said yes. And
I'm grateful that you picked up the phone. I was very excited when I'm like, oh, really? This would be amazing. Because I
and
knew I just wanted to get my hands on how you talked about your offer. I knew if all we needed, if that was all we did.
yeah, because the first year, I'm going to tell you the truth, was a little convoluted and it was like confusing. And so you did help me streamline that view.
Awesome.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
And now you're on to all these amazing things. Because
So many things.
it's a momentum changer, right?
It is. It's a game changer all around. So I'm excited. Things are going very well, and got 2 events on the calendar for this year. And I'm going to do what you helped me create. Is now an annual event.
Nice. I can't wait to be there. Thank you. Thank you so much for spending some time with me to help people understand how I can help them, what's possible for them, and hopefully give some folks some inspiration.
Yay. Thank you, Erin. I appreciate you.